Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can
No,
you
I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Today's topic is entitled "The Cult Goes Full Totalitarian." Ooh, how special is that? Before I get to the topic at hand, a couple programming notes. Number one, the reason why I'm able to do these videos is because of the subscribers at davejanda.com. And the subscribers on a regular basis ask me to provide content to the public free of charge, to take many of our presentations that are behind the paywall and bring them to you. Now, they are very generous people, and I believe all of us at davejanda.com are. In fact, our IT team recently did a survey of other platforms, and they found that we provide 3 times as much free content as platforms that charge 3, 4, 5 times the amount we do on a monthly basis, and we provide more content that they have actually behind their free content that they have behind their paywall. There are costs to that. People don't realize this. Many people don't. Some do, but many don't because they've never run a business before. I spend thousands of dollars every month on the IT team because we have you get what you pay for. We have the best IT team on the planet. And they keep our website secure and our content secure. They do things to these videos that allow them for you to see them. Yet these videos are oppressed and suppressed by whether it's FraudTube or Rumble. Rumble is not the panacea that people say. Notifications are manipulated, view counts are minimized, monetization, there is none on Rumble, essentially, unless you have a financial vested interest in Rumble, like Bongino or some of these other cats, or a Bongino friend. So we have huge expenses that have only been escalating significantly, and I've kept the price of our subscription content, 30 cents a day, $9 a month, the same for over 6 years. And for us to put videos up on free platforms, it costs money. And I'm not just talking, my time I think is worth something more than zero. What it is, I don't know. But it's not zero, but that's what I get. But I got to pay people. And even though the subscribers say, please put this up free, there's costs with that because the IT team puts it up. They have to scrub the video audio so that the censors don't get it on FraudTube or Rumble. And the point is that we put up segments from our radio show for the public, which the podcast, the radio show is live and free if you listen at davejanda.com. But if you want the commercial-free version and the podcast afterwards, that's part of the subscription side, one of the many benefits of the subscription. But for us to put it up on FraudTube or Rumble, there's cost to that. And bottom line is that we can't keep affording to do that, unfortunately. And we do tremendous interviews. I never put up our WTF Insider show or WTF show where I bring information forward from my contacts behind the curtain over 35 years and puts people months, years, over a decade ahead of the curve. I've never put one of those up on a free platform. Can't. Would never get away with it. However, we do take our Insider Insight shows with someone we bring forward and discuss issues. And we occasionally put those up free because our subscribers request it. We can't do that any longer. So what I'm telling you is what you're going to see on this platform is going to be minimized. And same on Rumble, because we can't afford the costs associated with that any longer. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm not controlled opposition. I don't have anybody behind that, the wall here, the windows, that funds us. We don't get funded other than through our subscribers. Well, Dave, you have a radio show. Yeah, I do. And I pay thousands of dollars every month to the radio station for the airtime and for the engineers. I don't get paid to do that. I never have in 13 years from the station. Yes, we have corporate sponsors, and thank goodness we do, but it doesn't cover the whole cost. So the bottom line is, folks, if you enjoy my content, if you benefit from the content we provide, then if you want the content, you're going to have to become a subscriber at davejanda.com for 30 cents a day. And as I mentioned to other folks, if you say you can't afford it, well, I'm sorry about that. But there are many reasons why someone could not afford 30 cents a day. You know, I have brought a huge number of people, produced hundreds of videos over the years on your financial freedom. And part of the financial freedom for folks is ensuring your financial future. And as we have pointed out to you, I even brought my family's 4-generational battle against the globalist cult and how it focuses on financial freedom and the utilization as an insurance policy of precious metals. When I started our platforms, I think silver was $8 or $9 an ounce and gold was $600 an ounce, maybe less. Well, you try to buy a silver coin now, it's well over $30. In some cases, if Silver Eagle, $40 an ounce, not 8 or 9. And our experts that have come forward on our platform told you, gold, 600 some, when we started talking about it, is now over $2,000 an ounce. And if you haven't taken advantage of that insurance policy that our experts were talking about, and that's why you can't afford this, well, that's a problem. And you have to ask yourself, why did I decide to sit on the bench and not take advantage of what these people were talking about and telling me what's coming and what's here? 100% of people who watch these videos of ours, I can't speak about other platforms, but I know our content. I know what we've provided over the past 13 years on the radio, decade here on YouTube and on Rumble and on whatever, and social media. No one who watches our platform can say that if they acted upon some of the proactive steps we've suggested, talked about, the insurance policies, 100% of people can afford 30 cents a day to maintain that lifeline of information freedom. So I hope you go to davejanda.com. I hope you become part of our freedom family. But we're not going to be bringing you radio segments any longer. Even though the subscribers might ask me to do it, it's not going to happen. And us bringing you free Insider Insight shows is not going to happen. And our public content that, well, you have advertisements from YouTube on your we make about $6. Yeah, that's how much they've suppressed it. $6 a video. I assure you, it cost me many times that amount for the IT team to make it so that those videos are able to be seen and not censored by you. Okay? And who's doing the censoring? One of their big tools, censorship, are the totalitarians. And they've gone full totalitarian. James Howard Kunstler, a political commentator, recently wrote this. The American administrative blob has not just lied about everything it does, but used the government machinery at hand to destroy everything it touches in a terminal, hysterical effort to cover up its misdeeds, including especially its crimes against its own people. The blob psyops are finally failing amongst just enough of the formerly mind-altered to tip the national consensus against the gang behind all of this treasonous political depravity. Even the so-called mainstream media, which I call the bought-off mainstream fake media, a tentacle of the deep state, is running scared. If they happen to turn in a desperate act of self-preservation, the bought-off lamestream fake media actually trying to tell you a little morsel of truth, not just all misinformation, but it will be all over for the blob. And that's why the blob is panicked and desperate, because many people, millions of people, have become awakened. Don't confuse that with woke. Awakened to what the cult has perpetrated, is perpetrating, and potentially will perpetrate in the future. RFK Jr., love him or hate him, agree or disagree with him, he's been calling out the cult. RFK Jr. says climate change being exploited to push totalitarian controls. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said that climate-related issues are being exploited by wealthy individuals in a bid to enact totalitarian controls over society. Sound familiar? Over the past 3 years? Not climate change. They'd use something else. Yeah. Climate issues and pollution issues are being exploited by mega-billionaires like Microsoft co-founder Gates. The same way that was exploited to use an excuse to clamp down, top-down totalitarian controls on society, and then to give us their engineering solutions. Kennedy suggested that other than Gates, the World Economic Forum is also exploiting climate-related policies to produce a totalitarian society. What we have in this country now is not free market capitalism, it's corporate crony capitalism. It's a cushy kind of socialism for the rich and a brutal, barbaric, merciless capitalism for the poor. The totalitarians are destroyers. You gotta laugh. Everything they say reverse. Build back better. Build. No. Destroy back better. Right? They're destroyers. And just look at Il Demente, Basement Joe, and his destructive environmental policies. As opposed to pushing the most efficient, the most cost-effective, the most green energy. They always talk green as John Kerry flies around in his private jets all over the world. And same with DiCaprio and all those other hypocritical scum. They are, in fact, the biggest environmental terrorists on the planet. Give me some examples, Dave. The totalitarians love destruction of everything. We're going to save the planet. No, they're destroying the planet. How about what they did with the Nord Stream pipeline? In that bombing operation that we alerted our subscribers to the week after, in September 2022. We told them who was responsible. And it wasn't Russia taking on their own leverage system that they were using for leverage and money. No, it was the West. Confirmed several months later by investigative journalist Cy Hirsch. But that Nord Stream sabotage resulted in more than 115,000 tons of natural gas escaping the damaged pipelines in just the first 6 days, with a greenhouse gas contribution of approximately 15 million tons of CO2, or the amount of carbon that can be absorbed by roughly 580 million trees in a year. Yeah. Or how about their environmental disaster when they bombed the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam in Russia-controlled part of Ukraine? This same environmentally friendly administration and totalitarian thugocracy has instituted this proxy war in Ukraine and using increasingly destructive munitions like depleted uranium. Cluster bombs, what does that do for the environment? When between 17 and 40% of them don't go off and they're in the ground, and then unsuspecting kids and civilians happen to be just walking where these are just ticking time bombs and they go off. They're still going off in Laos and Vietnam for what we did over there in 50 years ago. Or speaking about their destruction of the environment, what about their toxic train gate in Ohio? You know, where they did that controlled burn? Right. Or what about the cult and their malfeasance with forestry management? You know, like good old Trudeau in Canada with all those fires still ablazing. And here in the United States with the Biden administration's forestry management malfeasance. They recently, in Ukraine, they targeted nuclear reactors as being sites to be taken out. Can you say Chernobyl times 10? Ukraine preparing for a nuclear explosion as Russia reduces Zaporizhzhia plant presence. Ukraine's puppet Zelensky from the World Economic Forum has once again been warning the public in the West that Russia is planning to stage some kind of disastrous nuclear fallout event centered on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant, Europe's largest plant. There is a serious threat because Russia is technically ready to provoke a local explosion at the station, which could lead to radiation release. Really? Remember, they always tell you what they're going to do or have done, right? Is a Gulf of Tonkin, false flag, moment at hand? Is from Zero Hedge. Lindsey Graham, along with Blumenthal, you know, the guy who said he was in Vietnam when in fact he wasn't in Vietnam. Yeah. The senators introduced his resolution providing Article 5 guarantees to Ukraine in the event that, among other things, a nuclear facility is destroyed in Ukraine. Well, let's not let the facts get in the way. I mean, these folks do reek. They are environmental terrorists, the cult. The International Atomic Energy Commission, an agency, has been monitoring that plant at the request of Russia. Wait, who? Wait, I thought Russia was supposed to... No, exactly opposite. They recently released a report that there's no evidence of planted explosives at that plant. Essentially, the UN said Zelensky and Lindsey Graham and Blumenthal and the Biden administration and NATO is full of stool, let's put it. IAEA experts, quote, have in recent days and weeks inspected parts of this facility, including some sections of the perimeter of the large cooling pond, and have also conducted regular walkdowns across the site. So far, there has been no evidence and any visible indications of mines or explosives. See, that's what the cult does. They accuse others, who they see as their adversaries, of being guilty of exactly what they have perpetrated or in the process of perpetrating. Right? Look back in 2016, right? Russia collusion. Who was in collusion with Russia? Not Trump. Hillary. She paid for that dossier from Steele. Yeah. And then backed up by the totalitarian agencies. FBI, CIA, you name it. The cult has gone full totalitarian. Why? Because, not one of the misconceptions, because they're so powerful. No, they're so panicked. They're so desperate. The cult is deathly afraid of the independent media. The independent media has caused a great and led to a great awakening, of which you are a part of. And then you then take that information and provide it to others, who awakens them, and then they do the same. And it's this huge bucket brigade of truth and facts and data, and when needed, science. And the cult hates that, which is why they've gone full totalitarian. It's not out of power. It's not because they're winning. They're losing. The only way they win is if you sit on the bench. You refuse to get off your couch. You don't talk and educate and empower your loved ones, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors, maybe even people you don't even know. That's how they win. And then they become less desperate if you decide to just sit there like a bump on the log. You see, folks, the key to all of this, and this is what bothers people, I don't tell you to trust a plan, to trust and wait for a politician to come or wait for the military to come. I tell you to trust you in doing something, which means you get off a dead center. Some people like that. Many people don't. They don't want to take the time and the effort. They don't want to put themselves out there just even a little bit because they'd rather wait and trust the plan that some of those other platforms push. That is a recipe in failure. You are playing in the cult's hands if you do that trust the plan stuff. Because if you trust the plan, it means you're sitting on dead center and you're not getting off the couch and bench. And if you are one of those people who refuses to get off the bench and wants to trust the plan, don't come back here. You're wasting your time. I'm here to speak to people and to motivate people and to give insight to people so that when they go on that field, they can more easily defeat the totalitarian thugs. That's what we do at DaveJanda.com. We hope you become part of our freedom family. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.